Hey, how's it going, guys? So today I'm releasing the adaption kit for the Peugeot 406 V6 engine. This one is for front-wheel drive purpose, and it's using the DQ500 gearbox as a front-wheel drive setup. So you would purchase a DQ500 all-wheel drive box, remove the transfer case, and this adapter will fit up against there. The main adapter is 20mm thick, if you need to know how much your box is going to move over by. Comes with an oil seal for the shaft, and comes with the O-ring in there to seal up against the gearbox. 16mm dowels on both sides of the plate. It's just coincidence that the engine also takes a 16mm dowel. Oil seals in there, and then we got our usual two-piece crank adapter with a spigot shaft bearing in there as well. This bolt pattern is for the 8-hole flywheel, which the DQ500 uses, that's your two-piece crank adapter. You got your hardware for the engine, for the mid shaft, and for the gearbox. So this particular engine uses a mid shaft, the factory mid shaft, where the CV cup is actually machined all in one. So because of that, it was not able to make up my new mid shaft where the OEM CV could be pushed onto. So we had to end up making the mid shaft and then use an alternative CV cup, which is the Honda K series inner CV joint, which we mostly use on these DSG swaps. So as you can see, we got the new mid shaft with a adjustable seal nut. That's your DSG side, and then this is to accept your Honda K series in a CV joint, which is basically that joint, which will fit on there. And then another unfortunate thing with this engine is the midshaft, the factory midshaft bracket has an incorporated rear engine mounting, and because the position of the midshaft changes from the factory position, we had to end up actually making the entire unit assembly, bracket assembly. And so this is what you see here. So you've got the mounting point, the new mounting point for the original distance is the same. The new distance is the same as the original distance, except that it's now all incorporated into a new bracket. This is a 75 Shore poly mount, so it's pretty sturdy, but it's not like real racing hardness. So your mounting's incorporated into the bracket that also holds the midshaft bracket, midshaft bearing as well. So that's so that's basically all the components. So this is the 406 V6 engine. Just to make sure you guys know what engine it is. And that's with the main adapter fitted on. That's with the first crank adapter section fitted on, and then you'll just reuse your original bolts, torque that down, and then you'll place the second half second half of the adapter, place it on there, and you will then use the bolts that are supplied with the kit to bolt that together with some Loctite 64 Newton meters on there. That's what it looks like with the flywheel sitting on there. Before I forget, so the original starter motor used to bolt up onto these two, well, it's actually 4 on 3 points. 1, 2, 3, yeah, 1 to 3 points. You obviously won't be using that anymore. You'll always use a DSG starter with a DSG swap. But in this situation, these bolts on either side were actually helping to support the junction between the block and the lower girdle. And what I would recommend is to disassemble the starter, take all the motor and stuff off, and cut this upper part off, and then you're left with this block, and actually bolt this block back onto your block as extra support, so you still have that strength back again. And that's just to show you the mid shaft now fitted, the bracket fitted on. You can see the mounting clears exactly the way the factory one did. And I've just pushed the CV cup on there just to show you. It's got clearance at the back there. It's completely clear. The cup actually ends exactly the same distance as the original factory cup. So this will basically line up with exactly the same spot as it did before. Yeah, that's the shaft fitted. And then you'll notice there's a little seal nut which I've turned up, and it's sitting inside the seal now. When you fit the shaft and when you turn the seal nut upwards so that it starts to go into the seal, make sure you have some thread sealer or gasket maker on this thread, so that you can prevent the oil from trying to push through the threads. So the seal obviously only seals the outside of that seal nut, but the thread needs to be sealed with some thread sealer or gasket maker or something. And yeah, and there we go. That's basically the full kit. And like I said, this is for the DQ500. The 250 version will require a different adapter entirely, and the bracket will change slightly as well. Make sure you use a new dual mass flywheel, because they do come with new Torx bolts as well. And that's it for this up. One more thing to mention, that I was able to orientate the gearbox so that the gearbox sump is exactly level with the engine sump. So it's basically that line there is lined up with the bottom of the gearbox within about 1 or 2 degrees, and so you can be sure that the engine will sit level, gearbox will sit level, and everything should function well. We have clearance around everything. There's no trimming required at all. Everything should fit straight on. Thanks for watching, guys.